Welcome back to Church Production. I'm Marcel Patillo. So when it comes to testing new content on your stage, usually the videographer or the graphic designer has to link up with the production team, then get the LED wall on or the projection system loaded up. Then you can load in the content and actually see what it looks like on your stage. But what if you could test out new content on your stage without actually using your stage? That's where Pixera comes in. And we partnered with Pixera and Rob McTavish from Brave Church to really give you an insight on Pixera Media Servers. But before we get started, give this video a like, subscribe to the Church Production YouTube channel.
Hi, I'm Rob McTavish. I'm the production director at Brave Church in Englewood, Colorado. I've been involved in production for over 20 years. I've been with Brave Church for 2.5 years. Prior to that, I was at Flatiron's Community Church in Lafayette, Colorado. In addition to that, I've had the opportunity to speak publicly for Canon USA. I actually worked on the in-game production team for the Denver Broncos for 7 seasons. And I've also been blessed with a lot of opportunities outside that to work with acts like Cirque du Soleil and U2 and things like that. My passion definitely is for experiential, is what does it look like from one person, when a person drives onto the lot to the time that they leave, what does that look like? Going through our lobby, going through our worship center, but also have a strong emphasis on live video production.
So 7 seasons with the Denver Broncos is actually pretty insane, and it always fills me with so much gratitude to see God move people with so much professional experience into the church. And one thing about the broadcast campus at Brave Church is they've actually taken a much older building and outfitted it from the ground up to really fit the modern day standard of live production and live streaming. And Rob goes on to explain some of the complications with setting up such a great live service in this situation, as well as how Pixera has really helped out.
If you're thinking about installing an LED wall into a worship center, one challenge is, of course, your power supply. The other challenge is how close are people seated to your LED wall? Are you purchasing an LED wall with a pixel pitch that's going to support that? How bright do you run your LED wall in your environment so that it doesn't overexpose your cameras? So there's a lot that goes into consideration when you're considering the use of an LED wall over projection. And with Pixera, we found that we had a solution that offered us the ability to get in and design the space that we were going to be presenting in a very organized, structured fashion with a lot of reliability. It just worked. And then being able to spend more time of how creative can we get now that we've gotten our system set up. And I think we had it set up in less than an hour.
So it's always exciting seeing someone like Rob get excited about gear, especially someone that's worked at the highest, most intense level of live production, and he's probably seen all the gear. And one thing about Pixera is they have many solutions. They have software-only solutions that you can implement in your own media server, as well as hardware solutions that range all the way up to uncompressed 8K. But Rob goes on to tell us that there's a lot of time-saving attributes when it comes to working with Pixera.
It's like when you're working with the server, you can get in so deep that you lose track of time, because of the flexibility and the creativity. In the Pixera design process, I have to go back to the fact that it's a 3D environment where it gives you a really good visual representation for what you're going to see in your environment. For example, moving text around, put them into lyric strips or put them over moving backgrounds, you can get a good representation of what you're going to see on your LED wall before it gets there. And you can do a lot of the design process right within the software itself and not having to rely on, for example, having a clear stage, having all of your lighting set up. You can set aside time just specifically to design in Pixera and then come back to apply it to the wall, which gives you very similar results.
Ranging from the Pixera Mini to the Pixera 1, Pixera 2, and then the Pixera 4 and Pixera 4 RS, they have a long line of products made to service whatever capacity your in particular church needs. And lastly, I wanted to hear from Rob, what was the real difference when working with Pixera? What was maybe a constant problem that he would run across that Pixera really had great solutions for?
One of the great benefits of Pixera is not only the complexity of what it has to offer on the design process, but once you get your screen set up, it allows you then to save that in a way that the following weekend, if you follow a similar format, that you could easily just drag your content, for example, an animated loop, motion background, you can drag that right onto your timeline to replace your existing clip, and everything else will stay in place. I could easily see, looking at the Pixera solution, that somebody might say, I'm going to go ahead and put my entire service just on one timeline. and I'm going to use one timeline for my entire service. When I looked at it, I said, I think I'm going to make an individual timeline per song. And the reason I say that is because it gives us flexibility in our workflow. So we might come in on a Sunday morning and worship's decided to move the first song to the second song, and the second song to the last song, and the last song to the first song. And now you're like, okay, I got to go make some changes to my lighting console. And now I also have a media server that's going to be triggered off of that. And in some cases, they don't align with each other. But with Pixera, doing it on individual timelines, it was simply just moving that timeline in a different order.
So along with all the great benefits that Rob mentioned when working with Pixera, Pixera has solutions that can range all the way up to 8K uncompressed at 60 frames a second. It's also great with XR and AR, which is becoming very popular in live production, as well as can have a storage capacity of up to 61 terabytes, which is pretty huge. Pixera is doing a lot in this space to really revolutionize the industry. So a big thank you to Pixera for sending this gear out, as well as Rob McTavish and the whole team at Brave Church for taking your time, implementing Pixera into your system, and giving us your insight on what we can look forward to when working with Pixera as well. For now, give this video a like and subscribe to Church Production YouTube channel, and make sure to check out churchproduction.com for new articles and insights on everything church production. As always, I'm Marcel Patillo, and we'll see you all in the next one.